Hey guys, welcome back to FAQ Friday. This is a time where Adela and I get to just sit down with you and share some relevant information in a bunch of different topics. But today, what are we talking about?
Estate planning.
Estate planning. So fired up, so excited to talk about estate planning.
That's right.
So I'll let the expert talk a little bit more though.
Well, at the end of it, everybody deserves it, right? Because I had that misconception that it was only for wealthy people, right? The wealthy did it. Well, if you have more than 50 to 70,000 of assets, right? You need an estate plan. And the biggest and most important thing, right, is to avoid probate. What is probate? It's the state determining, the government deciding on what is going to take place for your assets, right? And so who wants the government in their hands? Not me.
Yeah. So the cool part is how organized my amazing wife is that she has a nice list right here in front of us that we're going to be reading off to you. So that way you can get the main points on why an estate plan is so important, regardless of your financial situation. So I hope we can, do a good job and get this information out to you. So she just talked about avoiding probate. The second one is resistant to contesting. What does that mean?
Right. So it's a binding contract because it's notarized. They obviously verify that you're of sound mind and body, that these were your wishes and this is what was discussed and you understand what that takes place. So it's difficult to contest, right? It can be contested. I have seen different things, but again, they go back. Was a person of sound mind? Did they understand what they were signing, what their wishes were, right? And if once it's determined that yes, you are sound mind, then it's uncontestable, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's a great point. Another point that she just mentioned or she just wrote down is flexible distribution. Is another reason why you need an estate plan is flexible distribution.
Yeah, so that's a couple different things, right? If you have children, minor children, you can determine election time frames of ages which they have access to the funds, whether they are getting married, starting a business, for scholarships, for let's just say, God forbid, they have drug addiction or abuse. You can elect not to have funds paid out for that specific reason. If they meet a certain grade point average, right? All these different things that you can elect on when they have access to the funds, right? Because who wants to give money to an 18-year-old, right? They have no idea. So you can elect 18, 21, 23, 30, whatever that thing is, you can elect the flexible distribution.
So how many of you guys have ever seen somebody unfortunately pass away and they have maybe a decent amount of assets and all of a sudden everybody's reaching for it, the family is feuding, and it can get really bad if you guys have seen this before. So one of the major reasons to have an estate plan is to alleviate all the potential family feuds that can happen.
100%. Because again, it's your wishes that's on paper. And that's what your executor has to go by.
How about if somebody has a special needs child?
Yeah. And that's another important why you need to have a trust or a living will estate plan situated is for that. Because generally speaking, once a child reaches 18, they are getting Social Security disability. If they are a recipient of any of your assets, let's just say on your home or your retirement accounts, they can be eliminated from receiving their Social Security benefits because they've already have money. And so that's another important thing. If it protects them, right, it separates it. Now that the trust is in place, it separates them because the trust is the owner, not the special needs child. So very critical. If you have a special needs child or know of anybody that has it, you need to have a trust in
And
place.
how many of us know people or families that are a blended family?
Yeah.
Husband had kids from a previous marriage. The wife had kids from a previous marriage. They get together. Maybe they have a kid of their own together. So you got a bunch of different dynamics.
Right.
If an estate plan is not in place, it's like a ticking time bomb. And unfortunately, we've seen that happen with some of our clients where they never got it done. Husband passes away, ex-spouse, kids, new spouse, kids, and it's
a mess.
It's a big mess.
Probate, it automatically will go to probate because it's not retitled. So you're talking about a year, maybe 2 years of having to go through the court battles of getting that identified and split because each state has a succession plan. And so they will determine who the next of kin is, right? And then you're going to leave it up to the judge to decide that. And if you have, biological kids, but you adopted these kids, or they weren't adopted, but you lived with them most of your life, your biological kids are legally entitled first before your kids that you've raised, so very important to have that all dialed in.
And it's really good though too to also make sure you protect all your assets.
Right, asset preservation.
Why would you? Asset preservation is a major reason to have an estate plan. Like, why would you go throughout your entire life, doing the right thing, working hard, putting in the time, trying to accumulate wealth for you and your family, and not protect it?
And that's the big one, right? Because our biggest asset is our home, right? That's usually where a husband and wife want to leave that main aspect of behind to their family, whether to divvy it up amongst them or it stays within the family and it just continues being in the family name. And so if it's not retitled and it's still into your personal name, it automatically goes to probate. So if that's the number one thing you want to leave, and you may not have anything else that you think is deserving to be put into the trust, that is so critical to have a trust in place so that it's retitled and now the trust is the ownership of it.
And one of the last things we want to talk about is reducing estate taxes, because the number one wealth killer from family to family, from generation to generation, is Uncle Sam. He's got his hands on your money. What does an estate plan do for taxes?
Well, it protects it, right? Because it alleviates that separation. It separates now the trust is the ownership of all of that, right? So then you can take smaller distributions to minimize taxes if you're the grantor or a trustee. So it's a huge, there's so many other benefits to it. But yes, eliminating all of that is so critical.
So here's the thing. We could spend hours talking about why you need an estate plan. Bottom line, if you have kids, if you have assets, if you've got a home, there's people dependent on you. You need to have an estate plan, and it's one of those things that the sooner you get it done, the better it's going to be. So I hope you found this information useful. You can find us. You can go to our website at www.arrivefinancialservices.com. You can put your information in there, drop your email if you want. We can send you a brochure that we have on why you need an estate plan, how much it's going to cost, what it includes.
Right.
And then you can call our office if you want. It's 661-636-6862. And we can put you on our schedule to maybe jump on a Zoom and do a little introduction call for you and kind of just get to know you and see what your goals are.
Answer some questions, you may have. But again, like Ariel said, you avoid probate, your financial powers of attorney so that you can have things paid for, right? When you're no longer with us. Your healthcare advance directive, especially when you go into surgery, having your wishes, right? If you can't speak for yourself, if you have minor children, blended families, all of those things, you own a home, so critical. So reach out. We're here to help.
One of the things I forgot to mention, what if you already have an estate plan, but you haven't looked at it like in 10 years?
Right.
What do we do? Can we look at that?
Absolutely. We can take a look at it. We want to make sure your assets are retitled. That's the biggest thing. Making sure your home is retitled, some of your retirement accounts or your policies that you have, life insurance, all of those things. So yes, make sure if you have one already in place, reevaluate it. We're happy to look at it for you and make sure if there's any holes, need to make any adjustments, we can assist you with that.
Yep. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for joining us on FAQ Friday. We look forward to bringing you more information in the future.
That's right.
If you find this helpful, reach out to us, let us know, and we'll see you next time.
That's right. Thanks.
See you guys.